Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took aim at Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre during a recent speech, accusing him of undermining Canadian institutions and labeling him a Grinch. Trudeau contrasted Poilievre's leadership with what he described as a bygone era of Conservatives who prioritized protecting institutions rather than tearing them down.
Over 150 years of Liberal history. In the meantime, the Conservatives have changed their names multiple times and changed their values more times than I can count. They call me old-fashioned, but I remember when conservative stood for protecting our institutions instead of trying to tear them down. Just look at their current leader. His slogans are all about cutting taxes, but put an actual tax cut on the table, and he votes against it. He voted against a tax break for Canadians over these Christmas holidays. When he was a minister, he voted to make life harder for unions, to make it harder for workers to organize. But today, he pretends to stand with them. He voted repeatedly against the right to abortion. But now he tries to claim he's pro-choice. Let me be clear. Being pro-choice means standing up to the people who would take away that freedom, and that would mean standing up to his own party, which he won't do. Now, don't get me wrong. Believing in a woman's right to choose would be a good start for Conservatives. But as Liberals, we just don't believe in a woman's right to choose. We're ready to fight for it every single day.
Highlighting perceived inconsistencies in Poilievre's policy record, Trudeau noted the Conservative leader's votes against tax cuts and his historical opposition to abortion rights. He voted to make life harder for unions and workers, but today he pretends to stand with them, Trudeau said. He also criticized Poilievre for what he called a lack of genuine support for Canadians, citing his opposition to recent tax relief measures during the holidays. Poilievre responded by accusing Trudeau of engaging in political theatrics to divert attention from his own government's failures. He described the Prime Minister as out of touch with ordinary Canadians and pointed to rising costs of living and increased social divisions under Trudeau's leadership. Poilievre reiterated his focus on economic growth, tax cuts, and policies to support workers. The exchange reflects growing tensions between the Liberal and Conservative parties, with both leaders accusing the other of hypocrisy. Critics of Trudeau, including some Conservative supporters, have called his comments a distraction from pressing issues like inflation and national unity. Ezra Levant, a prominent commentator, described Trudeau's remarks as political theater and argued they failed to address substantive policy concerns. Trudeau is using the festive season to score political points instead of tackling real issues, Levant said. As political rhetoric intensifies, observers note that both leaders are positioning themselves for a battle over Canada's future direction, with Trudeau emphasizing liberal values and institutional protection while Poilievre focuses on economic reform and reducing government overreach.